رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda, broadcasting to you live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, the first Ask Huda from Jeddah after the blessed month of Ramadan. I ask and pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that He accepts my and yours prayers, fasting and good deeds. Ameen. You will find the numbers inshallah displayed at the bottom of your screen. If you have any call, please, or if you have any questions, please call and I'll try to answer whatever I have knowledge in with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. Meanwhile, we have a few emails. Umar Ahmed says, I want to know what's the ruling on a man in public with his female mahrams and they do not abide by the hijab, but the man is encouraging them to wear it, yet they still don't and won't listen to him. Is this okay? First of all, it is not permissible for a woman to go out in front of non-mahrams, to go out in public without abiding by the hijab. Allah Azza wa Jal forbade this in the Quran when He said, وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَا تَبَرُّجَ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَى, and do not adorn yourself and expose your beauty as used to be done in the first time of Jahiliyyah, of the time of the pre-Islamic era. So this is the order and instruction of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, if a woman fails to abide by Allah's instructions, she is sinful. However, what is the stance of her male mahram, of her brother, of her son, or of her father? Now, as a father or a husband, they have complete and total authority over the daughter or over the wife. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. O you who believe, protect yourself. Protect yourselves and your families. Hellfire. So this is an instruction from Allah Azza wa Jal. So a father is obliged to force his daughter to abide by the hijab and to wear decent clothes and not to sin, as he's also obliged to do that with his son. So if the son wants to go out wearing shorts, for example, this is prohibited. He is obliged to force him not to do so. Likewise, a husband must do the same with his wife. And if the wife is defiant, if she is insisting on sinning and not abiding by Allah's laws and regulations, he is obliged to force her to do that. The problem is when this woman is your mother or she is your sister. Now, the brother is encouraging his mahrams to wear the hijab, but they're not abiding. So he is left with two options. And one of them is the easiest and most lovable and likable to most of us. And that is to cut all communications, not to do or to have to do anything with them, not to drive them around, not to take them to any place because of their sin. And sometimes, rarely, that is, sometimes this might work. When a woman has no other means of transportation and she loves her brother, she loves her son, etc., and she may give in and come back to her senses. But in most of the cases, they would have an alternative way to do without you, which means that it is your responsibility to weigh the pros and cons. It is your responsibility to see the advantages of going out with them and the disadvantages of not going out with them. If the cons and the disadvantages are far greater, in this case, you should refrain. You should not do that intentionally, because you will cause more harm. If you recall, maybe I did not do this on Huda, I did it somewhere else, but the Prophet ﷺ, when 3 of his companions did not march out with him on the 9th year of Hijrah to the Battle of Tabuk, one of them was Ka'b ibn Malik, and the other 2 were 2 great companions who witnessed Badr. But because of their sin, the Prophet ﷺ ordered all the people of Medina not to speak to them or to return their salam for a whole 50 days. They were like aliens. No one would look at them or communicate with them or speak with them for 50 days. And such kind of abandonment, to abandon them, worked with them, because they had the love of Allah Azza wa Jal and the love of the Prophet ﷺ filling their hearts. So such kind of reprimanding worked with them. Yet this cannot be the case with everyone else. If I do the same with my son, and I know that my son has bad company, and he will probably pick up doing drugs or robbing houses or stealing money from people because I kicked him out of the house, in this case, I should refrain. Therefore, the brother should look. And at the same time, it depends on the brother's status in the society. If he was the imam of the Islamic center, for example, and or a da'i, and his niece is a Muslimah but not practicing and not wearing the hijab, he cannot be seen in public with her, because people would not come and ask, MashaAllah, Sheikh, who's this? She's your niece, she's your daughter, she's your sister. They would think ill of him, and not of him personally, rather they would think ill of Islam as a whole. So it depends from one person to the other. Keep on advising them, keep on trying to keep a low profile, not to be seen with them in public as much as possible, but at the same time to limit the possibilities of them doing sinful things or going into more haram because they're not with you. So try your level best to minimize and limit this. Saeed has a second question. I don't know if you've seen the numbers at the bottom of the screen, because I did not see them. These are the numbers of the usual numbers you get if you have any questions to call with the Twitter and the Facebook and the emails as well. Saeed says, I recall one day listening to Sunnah or Surah Al-Baqarah. Then I heard the ayah when Allah mentions that Musa said, فَتُوبُوا إِلَى بَارِئِكُمْ. So I checked the word bari'ikum in the dictionary, and it translated to your creating, which confused me. What is the meaning behind this word? First of all, interpreting the meaning of the Quran is not for any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Now, if you knew Arabic, immediately you would have understood this. But because you do not know Arabic, it is not correct for you just to go to a dictionary and seek the meaning of a particular word, because the Arabic language is a vast and rich language. It's a living language, not like these new languages that have emerged recently, such as English, for example. 2 years ago, if you read something in English, you would not be able to understand it today, because this is a new language. It is not an original civilized language. However, Arabic is totally different. Yani, for example, the word ayn has a number of meanings in Arabic. So one famous meaning is the alphabet, the letter ayn. My name is Asim. The first letter is ayn. So this is one meaning. Also, ayn means an eye, which is the organ that I see with. Also, ayn means a spring of water. فيها عين جارية, Allah says in the Quran. A fourth meaning is a spy. وكان عينا للمشركين. He was a spy for the idol worshippers. A fifth meaning can be the object itself. When we say عين الشيء, this thing by itself. So there are many meanings of it. You cannot come to فيها عين جارية and go to the dictionary and look for عين and it tells you a spy. So there's a running spy in it, it doesn't work. There's a running eye in it, it doesn't work, and so on. So you must, first of all, know how to deal with Arabic, first of all. Second of all, you have to know the levels of interpretation of the Quran. So the best and highest level is to interpret Quran with the Quran, then the Quran with the Sunnah, then the Quran with the statements interpretation of the companions, then the Quran by Arabic. But translating or interpreting the Quran by only Arabic, this is the wrong thing to do. We have Wasila from Libya.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Wasila.
Please, sir, I have a problem and I want you to help me clarify it.
Okay.
Due to the war in Libya, I had a problem. Me and my husband, we went to seek refuge in another relative's place. And they gave us a place, a shelter, which is not a room, but they use partition to separate it. And we lived there for some years, and we left to another place, and we came back. And when we came back again, other people also came to seek shelter there. So they separate the women, and they left the men together at one place. So later on, all the people left, and I can't see my husband for past 6 months. Later on, when there is a little bit privacy, I went to meet my husband and we sat down and have a conversation. So later, the people who came to live with them in that same partition, when I left from my husband, they used to pray there already, you know. So they said because I stayed there and chat with my husband, so they cannot pray there. So please, what is the ruling on that? Please explain to me.
Any more questions? Okay, I will answer you, inshallah. Wasila's question is summarized easily in as follows. If a person is intimate with his wife in a room, is it possible for people to come afterwards and pray in the same room? And the answer is yes. As simple as that. There's no impurity in that room. There is no ritual najasa or hadath due to the intimacy that took place between a man and his wife. There's nothing wrong in that totally. So yes, they can pray in that room. Actually, this is what was the case in the Prophet's houses. We know that the Prophet lived in a very small chamber, a very small room that did not was not sufficient even for him to stand straight. He had to bend his head to come in. And there was no sufficient space in that room except for people to either lie down or to sit. To the extent that when the Prophet used to pray night prayer, والسلام, Mother Aisha used to be in the direction of his qibla. So whenever he wanted to prostrate, the room was so small that he had to poke her so that she would pull her legs away until he can prostrate, and then he may able to stand up and she would stretch her legs back again. So he would be intimate with her in that room, and this would not affect his prayer nor her prayers as well. Hassan from Kenya.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
I have a question concerning auction.
Okay.
And now this is how it happens. Someone, let's say, imports a car into a certain country. Hello?
Yes.
You hearing me?
Yes, someone wants to buy a car.
Then he or she happens not to be able to pay the import duty. Then the government decides to recover the import duty and the parking fees.
Okay.
So the government decides to auction all of these cars after they stay in the yard for some time without the original owner getting any money in return. So is it permissible in Islam for me to buy those kind of cars? Probably at a cheaper price than the amount the original owner bought for.
Okay.
Yes.
Any more questions, Hassan?
That is the only question I need clarification on.
Jazakallah khair. Hassan's question is quite clear and direct. A man leaves the car in the parking lot and travels away and doesn't come back. After 3 months, the airport authority or any other complex or any other governmental company or whatever department come and they auction these cars. They auction the luggage, the bags that the travelers left and did not come and claim. They auction VCRs, they auction mobile phones for people who did not show up after the designated time. And usually they say that if you don't pay, for example, if you take your mobile to a place to fix it and they say, if you don't claim it in 1 month, we're going to dispose of it. So, and you sign on this. So there's a prior agreement. So if this happens and the government or the airport authority auctions the car, for me to buy it off cheap, this would be something nice for me. But the owner is not willing to do so. Well, first of all, the owner issue is with the government, is with the airport authority, because he did something wrong. He has to come and pay his import tax, his duties, his whatever, and he failed to do so. So it is the right of the government to dispose of the car, and then they would deal with him, whether to give him something or to ask him for more fines and for more money that is much more than the actual price of the car. So I believe that there is no problem for you to buy it, inshallah. Hassan from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, Mala.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mala, I have a question that a little bit, the thing is confusing me. Is the use of Jesus Christ as by the Muslims, the name.
Okay.
I don't know if there is anywhere in the Quran or a direct translation that the meaning of Isa is Jesus.
Okay.
Because some of our Islamic scholars, they use Jesus when they are like lecturing in English.
Okay.
So I don't know, like David, we know that is Dawood in English. Gabriel is Jibril. But I don't know if there is any direct translation, Jesus and Isa.
Okay. I will answer you, inshallah. Any more questions, Hassan?
Maybe, I don't know whether the meaning of Jesus is Savior or something like that, so I don't know.
Any more questions? Okay. Jazaak ya akhi. We also have a question from so the question of Saeed simply means that Bari'ikum is your creator and not your creating. It's your creator, so it's a wrong dictionary that he had used. We have Ibrahim from Saudi.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
Doctor, my 3 sons, they are studying in British curriculum.
Yes.
One has completed IGCSE and another one is AS level.
Okay.
But my concern is that they are not that much interested in the Islamic education, and I am very much worried how can we motivate them to the Islamic concern, and I wanted to let them be a scholar, Islamic scholar beside the general education.
Okay.
So would you please suggest some university or some area where I can admit them and they can be
are they studying here, ya Ibrahim?
Like
Ibrahim, they're studying here?
Yeah, here in Jeddah.
Allah al-Musta'an. Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you, sir.
We have Habib from Oman.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah.
My question is, in my hometown back in India, there is a kind of marriage that happens that they marry between the cousins. Like, for example, they give one husband and they get the other husband back.
I did not understand your question.
They give one, for example, there are two brothers.
Exchanging. Okay, okay. So two brothers marrying two sisters.
Yes, yes, two brothers and two sisters exchanging, but they give mahr for each of the marriage.
They give what?
Is this kind of they give mahr for both the marriages.
Okay, but the mahr is different or the same?
Mahr is different for depending on what time the marriage happens and what case it happens.
So there is no condition that I give you my sister, but you give me your sister in return.
Sorry, can you go through again?
Is there any condition, meaning that I will give you my sister in marriage, providing that you give me your sister in marriage?
They speak like that. They tell you that if you want my sister, then I will give you sister or something like that.
Okay, I will.
They put that condition.
I will answer you, inshallah.
Okay.
حياك الله أخي. Amira from Bahrain. Amira.
Yes, salam alaikum.
Salamullah.
Sheikh, one question.
Yes.
My question is about a guiding for Eid of Eid al-Fitr.
What about it?
They said it is our was Eid, it is wrong. The Saudi Sheikh said it is our was Eid, it was wrong, and they give.
Who said that, Amira?
And they record us to fast one day more. It is right?
Who said this?
It is like I heard from, because I'm here already housemaid, I'm working, and the people is talking about like this, and they said because our Eid was Friday, and they said because your Friday Eid was wrong. Your Sheikh said you have to fast it one day more. They give kafara real something, 1 million real. I don't know, Allahu alam. Like this they said.
I will answer you.
Right or wrong?
I will answer you, inshallah. Don't worry. Hajja from USA.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
Okay, my question is, I want to know what Islam say about, some of the glada from, like I have a friend, she's from Russia. In Russia, when she wear hijab, she cannot walk. So she came to America with no mahram, just by herself. She stay by herself. So what Islam say about those people? Because over here, she can, practice Islam, wearing the hijab. In her country, she can't because she want to walk. Her parents, they're old. So what Islam say about those kind of people?
So you're asking me about her traveling or about her immigration or about her working?
No,
what is
about someone immigrating, like she from Russia. She immigrated from Russia to here.
Okay. I will answer you.
Wear hijab and
I will answer you, inshallah.
Okay.
I will answer
Okay,
you.
thank you.
You're welcome, inshallah. Hassan from Nigeria, he says that he tried to look for the interpretation of Jesus into Isa because the Arabic name is Isa. So where did Jesus come from? First of all, Isa, peace be upon him, or Jesus Christ, was not an Arab. So his name was something related to Isa. So he was a Hebrew. So some say that his original name is Esau, and the J itself is pronounced as I or Y. I remember that in the 1990s when I went to Slovenia, their capital was Ljubljana. When I read it, it was Ljubljana. And I was wondering where did the J go? So in some countries, the J is pronounced as I. So Jesus is Isus or Isa. So it's similar. In some countries, the J is pronounced as a Kha, as in Julio, in Spanish, for example, or Mexican. And so on. So, inshallah, there's no big issue in here. We know that who Jesus is, who Isa is, who is Al-Yasur, that this is how they translate it in the Arabic Bibles. They called him Al-Yasur. So it's similar, it's here and there, and Allah knows best. Ibrahim from Saudi Arabia, he says that he has 3 children and they have completed their A-levels, O-levels, or whatever, but in international schools. And they have no interest in studying Islam, while he wants them to be da'is and scholars of Islam. Akhi, you have made the biggest mistake from the very beginning by putting them in international schools. And I know about Jeddah, because I'm from Jeddah, and I know about Saudi Arabia. Most international schools are so far away from Islam, except a handful, one or two. The majority of so-called international schools, the people, the parents who take their children to these schools are only interested in English. No religion, no Quran, no etiquette, and nothing at all. My granddaughters go to such, and my grandson, one of them, go to such schools. And I've spoke to their parents, but to no avail. They want them to speak English, as if English is the magical word that takes them from poverty to wealth and richness, and from being so down into being prestigious and sophisticated, etc., not knowing that this has the worst impact on their religion, on their culture, on their Arabic language. Even when they are in grade 2 or grade 3, you ask them about prayers, they don't know how to pray. They don't know what to say in prayer. This is pathetic. This is something that it angers Muslims. There isn't any proper monitoring, and this is wrong. This is the role of the Ministry of Education to enforce teaching Islamic studies properly in these international schools, instead of making and preparing children who would become enemies of the country. They will become brainwashed, westernized, only thinking in English, wanting to watch English movies, listening to English music. The culture is different. The way of life is different. So this is our mistake from the very beginning. Now, am I promoting Islamic schools? I've been trying my level best to establish Islamic schools with an international curriculum. There's nothing wrong in that. I've seen Dr. Zakir's Islamic schools, Islamic International School, I think IIS. I've seen it firsthand in Mumbai, and it was shocking. It was astonishing. I've met the students who graduated who've never been to Saudi Arabia, or who just came to Umrah once every 2 or 3 years, and they spoke fluent English, and they were excellent in their Arabic. They were fluent in Arabic, and they were excellent in their math, in their chemistry, in their physics, and mashallah, they were excellent, and they did taekwondo and good in swimming, and mashallah, la quwwata illa billah. If we can mimic and clone such schools worldwide, wallahi, this would be one of the biggest achievements of Muslims, because you will be planting and infesting Islamic values from the own country by their own people, instead of getting a da'i to travel left and right and center. You can get da'is within, providing that you give them the right Islamic curriculum with the right Islamic mentality to deal with their culture, etc. So, akhi, this is your biggest problem. You can take a horse to water, but you cannot force it to drink. How to make them love Islam? You have to start from square one. You have to make them pray on time, take them to the masjid, beautify the Islamic knowledge, the Quran, the Sunnah to them, take them on field trips, take them to Mecca and Medina, let them try to see the beautiful culture that we have, the beautiful religion that we have, and relate them to Allah. Maybe then, inshallah, things would become better. Abdurrahman from Saudi, and I apologize.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
Sheikh, I'm asking, I was just watching a news from India. A woman from India was protesting. She was divorced through message 3 times at a go. Is that divorce valid?
So she was divorced through SMS?
Through message, internet, email.
Okay. I will answer you, inshallah.
Thank you. Okay. That's my question. Thank you.
You're quite welcome, akhi. Okay. So, Habib from Oman says, he's asking about a marriage that is known as shigar in Islam. And shigar marriage is as follows. I give you my sister to marry, on the condition that I marry your sister or I marry your daughter. So it's a conditional marriage. I give you and I take from you. This is prohibited and the marriage is void, the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, because it's in an exchange for something else, and this deprives a woman from receiving the correct husband or spouse and from receiving the correct mahar. But if this was not conditional, so I propose to someone's daughter, and he says, MashaAllah, the likes of you cannot be rejected, Sheikh, khalas, I accept, and I give you my daughter in marriage for so and so and so. But I heard that you have also a daughter, and my son wants to marry. So what do you think of our proposal? And I look into the son's issue, and he's, mashallah, trustworthy, and he is a good man. So I said, yes, I accept. So we both marry at the same time. Is there any problem? No. As long as there's no condition, as long as I'm giving the daughter of this man the suitable mahar, and his son is giving my daughter the suitable mahar, which are not related, and the mahar is given to the woman or the women themselves, then there is no problem. The problem is the conditional issue. I give you my daughter, you give me yours. I give you my sister, you give me yours. And this is conditional. If he refuses to give me his daughter, I will not give you mine. There's no go. No, this is haram, and it's called shigar. Amira from Bahrain says that she heard that, okay, before going to Amira, let's take Harun from Saudi.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Salam rahmatullah.
My question is, I have get married to a certain lady.
Okay.
Let's say my wife. And it has ended from some level that I have a problem, and doctor said I should stop eating pepper. I have a stomach ulcer, and I should eat fast. And my wife was a teacher, teaching from a certain school. And how the level I have to stop her for the school. I promise that I'll provide her anything that she wants to stop the school because of taking care of me. And she refused to stop the school. And I provoked. I said if she should choose one of the marriage other the school. If she wants the marriage to stop the school and take care of me because of my condition. And if she wants her school, then she pack her things to her father's house. And she accepts to pack the things to her father's house. And after 3 months, when she went, after 3 months' time, she go to our sheikh and our malams and apologizing to come back. And some of the malams say that the marriage has divorced. And some of them say that the marriage does not divorce. So I need indication on this issue.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Amira from Bahrain says that she heard that, and I got this funny message on WhatsApp, which is one of the devilish inventions used in propagating wrong information about Islam. It can be used in propagating good news, but the majority is awful. This message says that the Saudi authorities have discovered that they've announced Eid a day earlier. So now people have to make up for the missed day. It should have been on Saturday. They announced it that it is on Friday, so people missed Friday. They did not fast it. So they have to make up for that day, and they have to give kafara. And the kafara for the 300 million people who broke their fast worldwide, etc., is so and so. So it amounts up to $1 billion, etc., and some nonsense related to it. And they attached a clip from an Iranian Arabic news channel. It was funny. It was hilarious. It should have been on Saturday Night Live or something like that. But this is blatant lie. There is nothing of such nature at all. Your fasting was A-OK, alhamdulillah. The month was seen and proven to the court by witnesses on time. And the Eid was also detected, and the crescent was sighted in various regions of the country from different people. So you are in safe hands and there is nothing wrong, and all of this is a blatant lie known from the Shia. This is usual. Hajja from USA, she's asking about a friend of her. She's Russian and she's a practicing Muslimah, but she doesn't have any Muslim mahram with her. She cannot stay in Russia wearing the hijab because she would be harassed and she cannot work there. So she immigrated to USA to work there where the living conditions are better, but she doesn't have any mahram. So what's the ruling on that? This is something that we cannot answer on TV because this depends from one person to the other. It's not one size fits all. So generally speaking, no, she's not entitled, she's not permitted to travel without a mahram, but this differs from one case to the other, and each case has a different answer to it, and Allah knows best. Ahsan from Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Okay, let's have a question, and the question is that there are in the Quran regarding Salah, some of my friends, they argue with me that it's not clear that there's only 3 Salah in a day. Obviously, through the Hadith, we know that, there are 5. So how do we answer that question, whenever we have this discussion? How do I, respond to them regarding this?
Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah.
Any more questions?
And during Jamaat Namaz, if I pass wind or something like that,
yes.
Do I leave the Salah right away? Go do wuzu? How do I get out from there? What do I do?
طيب. I will answer you, inshallah.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Nada from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
Okay, I want to ask you something. I'm a student in medicine school in Egypt, but now I'm so interested. Like to study da'wah in Islamic studies. So I want to be successful in both of them, in medicine and da'wah. So I think that it will be so difficult to study both of them at the same time. So what's your advice? To continue in medicine and then study da'wah, or leave medicine and study da'wah and then after completing da'wah, going back to medicine?
How old are you?
I'm like 19.
So you only finished 1 year in med school?
What?
How many years did you finish in med school?
No, still only just 1 year. Like I'm going the 2nd year.
طيب. And you're studying in a mixed environment or segregated?
No, mixed in Egypt.
Okay, I will answer you, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Zahra. Zahra?
Yes.
From?
London.
Okay, what can I do for you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, my question relates to a comment you made earlier. I was in Makkah in Ramadan, and it was really, alhamdulillah, it's a blessed place, but it was really sad to see the behavior of certain people. And coming from London, it's very confusing for our children when they see people from Saudi Arabia behaving in such a way. For example, when the imam is making dua, they are on their phone and chatting, not praying. The girls, most of them have eyebrows that's been trimmed and long nails. So my question to you is, how do we educate our children, being in the West, that, we are learning from scratch, we are learning from the right side, but here the people are not abiding to what Islam says. What do we say to our children?
Okay.
And the other thing as well is when they see you, I've experienced myself, the Saudis, they say, you Indian, and when they ask me, where are you from? I say, I'm from London. Then they change their tune and go, mashallah, mashallah, London. I find that very, very strange.
Who does this? Zahra?
People, some sisters, yes, the locals, they say to me, Indians, move, because, you know, it's crowded when we are all, we want to go and pray. And then afterwards, when they talk to you and say, where are you from? And I say, I'm from London. And then they go, mashallah, mashallah. It's like what you said. London is like better than Mecca for them.
I will answer you, inshallah. I will answer you.
Jazakallah.
Wa jazakum. Abdurrahman from Saudi Arabia says that what is the ruling on someone sending via SMS or emails divorce to his wife? Now, this is ambiguous because there are two types of divorce. Clear divorce, that is, I divorce you. And there is probable divorce, when I say to my wife, go to your father's home, I don't want to see your face anymore. Or when I say it's over between us. So this is ambiguous. It might be that I don't want to see her face, but I don't want to divorce her. And it might be a divorce. So in such probable divorces, we have to ask and interrogate the man who divorced. What was his intention? Likewise, sending an SMS. Maybe he would say that I didn't send it. Maybe he says I was just thinking about it and writing it in a draft and I pressed send by mistake. Maybe I was just fooling around and wanting to prank my wife or whatever. So this is not clear-cut, direct divorce. So he has to be asked about it. And if he says, yes, I wanted to divorce her, then the divorce takes place. Muhammad from Nigeria?
Yes, Muhammad.
Yes, yeah, Muhammad. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
My question is, if your wife admitted to you that she is engaging in extramarital affairs with some other men, what is the status of your marriage with her in Islam?
Okay. Any more questions?
That's the only question.
Okay, I will answer inshallah. Alina from Pakistan.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Samtullah.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Yes.
The first one is that is it okay to look for a life partner through marriage bureaus or places like these? Under what conditions one can do this?
Okay.
And the second question is that is it appropriate to use the word hello while greeting someone? Okay.
Okay. Any more questions?
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
Wa jazakum. Okay. Harun from Saudi Arabia says that his wife, making a long story short, he gave a condition, an ultimatum to his wife. Choose either between your job or me. If you choose your job, then leave the house. I don't want you. Again, she left the house, and after 3 months, the elders came to try to reconcile. So, are they still married or they divorced? We bring this back about a couple of minutes ago when I said that divorce is divided into two types, clear divorce and probable divorce. If you said to her clearly, if you choose your job over me, you're divorced. This is different than if you choose your job over me, go back to your family, and pack your bags, I don't want to see your face. So if it's the first thing, if you said it clearly, if you choose your job, you're divorced, then we have to ask you, what was your intention at the time? Was it seriously to divorce her? Or was it to threaten her and intimidate her so that she would quit her job? If the answer is the first, because you are so sick and you needed someone to take care of you, and if she is insisting on continuing her job while you cannot afford having her and not having someone to take care of you, and you're looking forward to marrying someone else, in this case, the divorce takes place. But if you were just simply threatening her and you're just bluffing her to stay, and you had no intention of divorcing her, not at all, in this case, this becomes like an oath. You have to give kafarat yameen, expiation for the oath that you have done. We go to the second scenario. If you said, if you don't leave your job, go to your family, pack your bags, I don't want to see your face. If you intended divorce, divorce takes place. If you did not intend divorce, you just wanted her to leave and you don't want to see her so that you would be punishing her or reprimanding her in such a fashion, then the divorce does not take place. Ahsan from Pakistan says that in the Quran, there are only 3 prayers mentioned. There are 3 prayers mentioned in one location, but the other 2 are mentioned elsewhere. You have to read the Quran, the whole thing, first of all. Second of all, these friends of yours most likely are not Sunnis. So they're either Shia, who pray only 3 times a day, some of them, or they are rejectors of the Hadith. And if they are rejectors of the Hadith, if they do not believe in Bukhari and Muslim, these are kafir. Anyone who rejects the Hadith and refuses to adhere to it, he is not a Muslim. He's not a believer because he did not fulfill the Shahada by saying that the Prophet is the messenger of Allah. He's rejecting his instructions. Not only that, tell these imbeciles, when you say that there are 3 prayers in the Quran, how many rak'ahs is mentioned for Maghrib and how many rak'ahs for Fajr and how many rak'ahs for Isha, for example? They will fail to say because it's not mentioned in the Quran, nowhere in the Quran. So this shows you that their religion is incomplete because they're not proper Muslims. So I advise you not to talk with such people. Tahir from Nigeria. Tahir, lower your volume please and listen to me through the phone.
Okay.
Yes, Tahir, what's your question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Like lady.
Whoa, Tahir, you have the ability to change your voice.
Can you do that?
Who's on the line?
To go and pray like to the masjid.
I'm unable to get your question. Okay, I think we've lost. Ahsan from Pakistan says that if someone passes wind while in prayer, what should he do? First of all, his wudu is invalid, has been invalidated, which means that his prayer is void. So whatever you have done is gone. And what you will do is not accepted. So what to do? There is an authentic hadith which says that whoever passes wind during salat in congregation, to avoid any embarrassment, you should put your hand over your nose as if you have nose bleeding and pretend that there is something coming out and leave and exit the congregation. People, when they see someone raising his head, putting his hand on his nose, they would know that he has a nose bleeding and they would not say anything afterwards, inshallah. So, but you have to leave the prayer and you have to renew your wudu and come and join them again. Nada from Saudi Arabia, she is a med student and she loves da'wah, she loves Islam and to study Islam. She only finished 1 year. She asks, what's the best thing for me to do, to continue or to quit and join Islamic studies? My personal advice to you is to quit. Studying medicine in Egypt or in elsewhere where there is mixing between the gents and the ladies, this is totally prohibited. Any kind of putting yourself within the environment with other men is un-Islamic, is unacceptable. Alhamdulillah, there is no need for that at the moment. If you can find an Islamic area where you would study in segregation, then yes, I would tell you to continue. Now, studying Islamic, definitely nothing comes close to studying Islam, to Quran, the Sunnah, and the sciences of that. So you should do that, inshallah, and Allah would grant you success. Zahra from the UK, she came for Umrah with her children. May Allah Azza wa Jalla accept that in Ramadan. And she was saddened and shocked by the behavior of some of the Saudis, she said, in Haram. First of all, majority of Saudis don't go to the Haram in Ramadan due to the crowds and due to the lack of khushu' during Ramadan. I personally don't go to the Haram in Ramadan. Not because I don't want the reward, but I feel that, alhamdulillah, being a Saudi, being close to Haram, we have the month of Shawwal where there is no Umrah and no Hajj. so that they can take care of the infrastructure and clean the whole place and area after Ramadan for the visitors to come. And we have it also in Muharram after Hajj to do the same. So we can go in tranquility, in the peace of mind with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. So those you've seen were like you, from different Muslim countries. Now, what your children had seen was not a representation of Islam. You've seen that in a public place. It's like me going to London, to the Hyde Park, to the Speaker's Corners, and seeing how people are rude and shouting at each other and cursing one another. And I say, the people of UK are so impolite. I've seen them shouting and interrupting one another and cursing and being rude. Would this be a nice generalization? Definitely not. And also, she did not like the fact that because of her Asian origin and roots, people look at her and think that she's Indian or Pakistani, so they tell her to come and shalu shalu and jaldi jaldi. And when she tells them, I'm not from there, I'm from London, they say, MashaAllah, from the UK, please go ahead. Again, this is racism. Not all Muslims have this. We don't have this. I don't have this. I wouldn't care if you're from the UK, from Pakistan, or from whatever. You're a Muslim, khalas, you're a Muslim. You're white, you're black, this suits you. It doesn't do anything with me. But racism is everywhere. Racism is even in the heart of UK, and you should know it better. You know what they say about the Pakis and the Indians and so on lots of curries and so many slogans they have against you. So this is everywhere. It's found in Nazi Germany. It's found in the US, and we've seen what the police force is doing with the blacks and the killings and the brutality. This is everywhere. So don't blame those individuals you've seen, or actually blame them, and don't blame Islam. This is not Islam. If you come to Riyadh, if you come to Medina, if you come to Jeddah, and you see the Muslim Saudi families, you would sense the difference, inshallah. Maryam from Kuwait.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salamtullah.
Sheikh, I have a question.
Yes.
Can a woman communicate in non-mahram in the social media or MMS?
Doing what?
Something like a Islamic rule.
Okay, I will answer, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Sheikh.
You're welcome. Okay. Muhammad from Nigeria, he says that if a man, his wife admits having extramarital relationship, she admits adultery, what is the stance of the marriage? The marriage is not affected. If a man commits adultery, this is a major sin. If a woman commits adultery, this is a major sin. But the marriage contract is not affected by that. So if he wants to forgive her, if it was an error and he believes in her repentance and he can feel her sincere remorse, in this case, there's nothing wrong. He can continue with that. But the marriage as itself is not void by the fornication of one of the spouses or by committing adultery. Alina from Pakistan, she says, what's the ruling on searching for a proper spouse through the matrimonial sites? And what are the etiquettes for doing so? This is permissible. For a man to post his CV, to post his features and what he looks for in a potential spouse, for a woman to do the same, providing that, one, no photos of women to be published. This is totally prohibited. Two, she is not to be in direct contact with a potential spouse. So if she puts her phone number or email or whatever, and we communicate, this is dating, this is not matrimonial sites. And this is what's happening with a lot of the brothers and sisters in these dubious sites. They go in, they SMS, MashaAllah, Jazakumullahu khairan, Assalamu alaikum. dear sister, my name is brother so-and-so, I'm interested in Salat al-Fajr, and I'm interested in Al-Isha prayer, and witr is one of my favorite hobbies, and fasting Mondays and Thursdays is one of my greatest achievements. Tell me about yourself. And she does the same, and then, okay, can you send me your SMS mobile so that I can send you SMSs on about Islamic da'wah, your WhatsApp, your whatever. Can we call? How about having a cappuccino in the afternoon in a public place just to get to know? This is dating. This has nothing to do with Islamic matrimonial sites. So by having this, yeah, if you put your interests and the thing that may interest potential spouses, and put your father's mobile number for anyone who's interested to call him directly, this is inshallah halal. There's nothing wrong in that at all. What's the ruling on saying hello when meeting someone? This is a part of the tradition of the customs. If I see someone, Islamically I would say assalamu alaikum. If I see someone from far away, I say hi, assalamu alaikum, or hello, assalamu alaikum. If he's non-Muslim, then I would say hi, good morning, good day, what's happening? So the essence is that you do not begin to communicate with someone else before you begin the Islamic greeting, assalamu alaikum. Whether you say something before or afterwards, like hi, hello, good morning, there's nothing wrong in that, inshallah. Maryam from Kuwait, she says, what's the ruling on communicating with non-mahrams on social media, etc.? I think by answering Alina's question from Pakistan, you get your answer. If you communicate with me on the social media, on Sheikh, what is this, what is that? If it's a direct message and it's for something that is essential, it's from a sheikh, it's from a doctor, it's from a lawyer that you want a specific thing to get answered, and there's no hanky-panky, there's no problem. But what's happening on the social media, a woman writes a comment on a post, and then men start to say, and not on her comment, but on her photo, yes, this is very wise of you, this is beautiful, thank you, sister so-and-so, and she says, thank you, brother so-and-so, and then they direct message each one of, this is haram. This is defies the purpose of Islam to begin with. So one should be really careful with that. I believe that we have few seconds left. So Akhtar says, I have a 12-year-old son who is severely mentally disabled. He wears nappies, and I would like to know, does changing his nappies invalidate my wudu? First of all, you're not entitled, you're not permitted to look to his private part being this old, 12 years of age. And you're not allowed to touch it directly. If you wear gloves, then this does the job. Try your level best to clean and wash from beyond a visor or from beyond a cloth so that you don't see it directly. And if you touch it with this glove, then this inshallah does not affect your wudu. Jabir says, during salat, should the dhikr such as Subhana Rabbi al-A'la be spoken out loud in a low voice or kept in the mind without noise at all? The sunnah, Jabir, is to say it while removing your lips and tongue. But whether to make it audible or not, this is beside the point. So if no one hears it, even you, but you're moving your lips and tongue, then this does the job, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. This is all the time we have until we meet next time, next week, same time inshallah. I'll leave you fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech.